It's Monday, May 28th here at the West End Gun Club. I hadn't planned on shooting this weekend, but I woke up this morning and just felt the urge to just come out to the range. So I decided to do it light, sort of light. I threw some gear in the Jeep and threw my 22, my CZ 455, and decided to come out and shoot at the junior rimfire range. I figured today's gonna be pretty busy being Memorial Day, and so most people have the day off, so they're gonna wanna come out and come to the range. But I figured the 22 is going to be always the least trafficked area of the facility, so that's why I decided to throw the 22 in the Jeep and come out and shoot some rimfire. This is sort of my light loadout for the range, just one rifle and my backpack, a tripod, my range bag, my ammo cans in the cubby for the Jeep side rack made by Springtail Solutions. I left my, I usually keep this blue bin back here. This is this Brute. It's a Tupperware bin that I just keep back there to store some water and stuff. But I don't have to take it out because I don't have that much gear. But usually if I have a lot more range gear, maybe a centerfire or 2 centerfire rifles, I'll probably take that out, and so I can have more room to put more stands and more steel targets. Anyway, this is my light loadout, just one rifle today. And oh, I did bring a Glock. Always bring a sidearm to the range just in case. But we're gonna go ahead and unload, get all the gear out here and set up. I'm trying to set up the lab radar. I have actually not gotten this to work with rimfire in the past couple times I've used it. Well, I've only tried it a couple times, but I've never gotten it to work with rimfire. But I've read some tips, and I've heard some techniques by which to get this to trigger with rimfire without that attachment, which I should have just ordered the attachment, the microphone attachment, so it can pick up better. It was meant for air rifle, but it'll work for rimfire. But anyway, I heard that if you try moving the lab radar ahead of the muzzle to get more of that sonic crack, I guess, or the muzzle blast onto that, as opposed to right next to it, try to get it in front of the muzzle, it should be enough to trigger it. And I'm gonna bump the sensitivity on to the highest, and we'll see if that works. On the bench, you can see that I'm running the SK ammo. Stuff is basically equivalent to Wolf Match Target. It's good. It's decent ammo, especially for just casual shooting like this. It's accurate enough. Bet it's cheaper than SK and whatnot, so SK La Pua. This is Wolf Match Target. Wolf Match Extra has been pretty much a staple as far as the budget match 22 type shooters, guys who need a little bit of accuracy but don't want to spend money on it. This has always been the best option. And I have some Wolf Match Extra in my ammo can behind me. If you watched my last vlog, you probably saw that range tour that I gave of the back ranges here at the West End Gun Club and how they renovated by adding 6 more shooting bays. Quite a few people, well, a few people, not quite a few, but a few people reached out to me asking me about memberships at this range. So it is still waitlisted because they capped the membership here, just because the facility isn't that big to handle that many people. But if you get on the wait list for a limited membership, which limited membership doesn't give you access to the back ranges, but once you get on the wait list for both a limited and a full membership. But odds are you'll get a limited membership before a full. But once you get the limited membership, it puts you in priority for a full membership once those slots become available. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in joining this range facility, to get on both waiting lists for a limited and a full membership. And then if a full membership comes up, great. But if a limited membership opens and they're going to give it to you, then take it, because it's going to give you priority, even if you only have access to the mainline facility on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Limited does mean limited, so don't be surprised on your access. But I think it's $75 a year, I can't recall, for a limited membership. But again, it puts you on the priority list for a full membership when those become open. It doesn't appear that the detection or the triggering isn't the problem. It's the fact that it can't read the projectile. So I'm not sure if it's because I'm too close and doesn't have enough time to do the readings. So I may have to set my target beyond 25 yards and see if that detects or not. But I'm gonna go ahead and run some rounds right now and make sure that I know my zero, because right now it's dead wind. And I think I'm up to the left a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just confirm my no wind zero on this gun. I've got the target stretched out to 50 yards. Gonna go ahead and line everything up, and then we'll try this again. Still didn't detect a 50. Well, I don't know what to say about this. Probably have to run the magneto speed for this. I've had zero luck getting the lab radar to track a bullet. So as far as the rimfire is concerned, I don't think lab radar is good for this, unfortunately. So if you're going to shoot rimfire, definitely going to want to try to magneto speed, simply because I can't get this thing to track. I mean, it'll trigger and it knows to read, but it doesn't seem like it's picking up anything. I think only one other thing I can try is switching it to handgun mode, because the handgun versus pistol mode, there's a different range that it's expecting. So I'm not sure if that'll help. It's worth a try. Have everything set up. Oh, there you go. 1075. $10.71. $10.53. $10.90. $10.45. Well, there you go. So apparently, set the trigger sets the sensitivity to the highest, and then make sure that you're in pistol mode or handgun mode on the lab radar, and it should detect your rimfire, assuming it is subsonic like this is. I think supersonic may still detect if it's under 1,500 feet per second on the lab radar, because the speed of sound, what, is 1,100 something feet per second? But I know the rifle, there's the archery, handgun, and rifle mode on the lab radar. I don't recall in the manual what rifle mode is meant to be. Like, it starts at the minimum and goes to, you know, whatever on the max. But handgun mode starts pretty low, maybe 400, 500 feet per second, I don't know, up to whatever like plus P ammo you might be shooting. So you figure it should go up to 1,300, 1,400 feet per second on the handgun mode range. Since rimfire, this stuff is, you know, subsonic, most match ammo is coming out of this type of barrel. you figure it's 1050 feet per second, and so probably need to be on handgun mode, which makes sense. So yeah, there you go. That's how you set up your lab radar to read rimfire. But we'll go ahead and shoot a few more strings to get some data. But that we're going to shoot 10 rounds of Wolf Match Extra to get some data. Should be interesting. So 10 rounds, Wolf Match Extra. We've got an average of 1064, standard deviation 9.5, extreme spread of 30. That's not, I don't know. I don't think that's very good, but you know, as far as data is concerned with regards to extreme spread and its standard deviation. But this isn't a match grade barrel, and by definition, it really isn't the top quality ammo they can get. Granted, I don't have any Lapua or SK to compare it to, but at least this gives me something to work with this 16-inch CZ barrel as far as what it shoots. But I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit, and I'm gonna shoot some. Then I'm gonna shoot some SK ammo to get some velocity data on that. So we're looking at with the Wolf SK, or sorry, the SK Standard Plus, average of 1072, standard deviation of 8.5, and extreme spread of 25. It's better than the Wolf Match Extra, but still subpar as far as a hand loader like me is concerned. But it is what it is. Just take a quick look at the targets here. The ones on the left right here, this is all 25 yards. Then I went up to 50. You can see it's getting kind of wild here. Some vertical stringing. This one's actually a pretty good group here, 5 rounds with the SK. And this is the last 10 round group I shot with SK. I would say it's just under an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, edge to edge, which isn't that great at 50 yards. You kind of hope for better, but considering this is only how much did I spend for this gun? 300 bucks, 350, 400 after tax. It's not bad, all things considering. I moved my target out to 75 yards just for fun. Confirm some elevation zeros, if anything, and just to challenge a little bit more as far as reading possible wind, even though I don't have much of wind flags out here. And we'll just see how it shoots. Going to continue using the SK Standard Plus. So we're 0.5 of a mil up. Definitely lower than that. Say a full mil. So 0.8 of a mil, like that. Wow, that dropped. I saw the mirage pick up in the scope too. My target's moving. That one kind of high. It's a better group as far as wind control is concerned, but or windage control. There's a couple small steel targets, well, relatively small steel targets out at about 30 or 40 yards that they keep out here. Just gonna shoot a little standing here. For those that don't know, I used to shoot a lot of service rifle for about 4 or 5 years. I have an article on my blog about how I went distinguished rifleman under the CMP. But I don't want to get into a long story, but you should go read that article if you don't know what distinguished rifleman is or what high power entails. But NRA high power or CMP high power service rifle was pretty much AR-15, A2 open sights, shooting on 3 position. You got 200 yards standing prone, 200 yards sitting rapid, 300 yard rapid prone, and 600 yard slow prone. Anyway, standing slow fire 200 yards was kind of like the one thing I practiced all the time. So I pretty much, when I live fire practiced, it was basically 90% of my rounds, 95% of my rounds on any range session was shot standing. So if I go to the range, I probably only shoot like 40 or 50 rounds, and almost all of it was standing, and I'll probably shoot 10 rounds extra to shoot some sitting. But I always practice standing. Prone was, you don't really need to practice prone, to be honest. It was easy enough to shoot prone, and I didn't really need much practice. And during the match, that was enough practice for me. If anything, prone was all about wind reading. And so it was all on the fly wind reading at the matches. But 200 yards standing, if you could shoot 200 yards standing, if you could shoot cleans on that or shoot really good, it all translates to sitting and prone. As far as sight picture, sight alignment, trigger control, all those aspects of marksmanship come into play. And so that's why I spent all my time shooting standing. I don't shoot standing anymore. Like really, I don't take the effort or make the effort to shoot standing. But it is something you should practice as far as your marksmanship skills are concerned. The thing with standing in high power service rifle, NRA high power or CMP high power, is it's single loaded. So you load on the AR, you just load to the ejection port, close the bolt, and you fire right in one round. And generally you reset every time. So you're going to come off the gun, you're going to unloaded rifle, bolt back. You can set the gun on your stool or whatever, hold it, but you're not going to be on target. So you're going to rest between each shot. So it is an exercise as far as all the fundamentals, because when you're shooting standing, which I also have another article about skeletal support as opposed to muscle support when you're shooting, but it's all about natural point of aim. Then once you establish position, it's all about getting the correct position every time, seating the rifle buttstock the same way every time, locking in every time. You're going to get your sight alignment, you're going to get your sight picture, coming to target with the sight picture. Then you're going to control that trigger because you're going to pee off. Once you get on the target, you're going to be half pulled back on your first stage. Then when you're ready to go, you let that sucker fly. Just press back further to break it. Hold your shot. Call your sights on the target when the shot breaks. Then you can come off and reset. So it's all those fundamentals as far as NPA, natural point of aim, resetting the stock, shouldering it up, aligning your sights, getting on target with sight picture, controlling that trigger, pulling, braking, calling your shot, holding for the recoil, and then waiting for the reset. All those fundamentals comes into play, and you're shooting an NRA match. You're shooting 22 rounds, so two sighters, and then 20 shots for record in 22 minutes. Then with a CMP match, if you're shooting EIC, you don't even get sighters, so you're shooting 10 rounds and that's it, no sighters. So you better be good. You better know your gun, know how you shoot, and make sure that you're on target every time, or you have your settings correct in your data book and whatnot, so you know how to be on. You don't need the sighters. So that's what the CMP matches are all about. EICs is excellence in competition. It means that you know your gun inside and out, you know your dope inside and out, you know how to call wind on that very first shot. Everything comes into play on that. So service rifle can be very interesting and it can be challenging, and it's an exercise in marksmanship skills and consistency. Some people find it boring, but if you can excel in NRA or CMP service rifle, you can pretty much translate those skills to all other aspects of shooting, different formats and disciplines. It's almost 10 o'clock. I pulled in my targets and I'm about to load up all my gear into the Jeep. Done shooting for the day. There's a lot more activity going on in the adjacent bays. I can hear a lot more gunfire, trucks coming in. So I know this place is starting to fill up. But as you can see behind me, I have the entire Rimfire range to myself. People just don't shoot Rimfire that much. So the Rimfire range to this facility gets very little traffic. So it's nice to have this all by myself on a Memorial Day morning. But not sure what else is going on today for me. Gonna drive home. Got to dodge the parade route because right now it's West Coast Thunder It's a huge motorcycle like convoy or ride. They ride from the Harley Davidson dealership in Riverside all the way to Riverside National Cemetery and then somewhere else. So they block off a lot of roads, and in those streets that they block off are my routes home. So there's another way to go around to get to where I live, so I'm just going to take that alternate route, and it is what it is. But anyway, today is what is today? 28th. I know today's Memorial Day, but today's May 28th, Monday, Memorial Day. Have a good Memorial Day, and remember all those folks that we should be remembering on Memorial Day, and be thankful for what they have done for our country. Anyway, have a good one. I'll see you in the next vlog.